Hello, listeners and viewers. We are back today with Media, who's here to answer a few questions about Planchett. We were doing a Planchett series, if you recall, and we are here to invite Media to speak about her experiences of Planchett and how she understands connecting with spirits or souls. Welcome to our channel, Media. How have you been?
Thank you so much. I've been doing good, and with all this Pitri Paksh going on, things have been on a roller coaster ride, but for good. And hope you're doing well too. And it's really a pleasure coming back to your platform once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to us and appreciating us. Media, just let's come to the point. What is Planchett according to you?
See, if you go by the dictionary meaning, planchette is a word which means a triangular board with alphabets and a pencil.
Mhm.
So, this is what planchet means. But what we understand when we talk about planchet, uh, it's about contacting the souls or spirits. So, that is what planchet is generally known about. But the dictionary meaning is completely different. It's just about a triangular, it's a mode. It's a mode of communication. So, what is the mode? It's a triangular table with alphabets and numericals and a pencil or a pen or a coins to say. It's almost like a Ouija.
Yes. So, first of all, a thought that comes to my mind, it may sound inconsequential to you, but is there a difference between when we say spirits and soul? Is there any difference, or they're one and the same?
I know there is a huge lot of difference between spirits and souls. Spirits can be of any form, like a spirit of a deceased person, or the spirits which were there since eternity, or spirits which are malevolent or good. There are so many things. Spirits can be defined in so many ways. And souls are of, when we speak of souls, we are talking of the people who have crossed over or who have passed out, not crossed over exactly, who have passed out. They have left their physical form, and they're in the form of a soul. They're in the form of an energy, to be scientific.
Okay. So, do you mean to say that souls can never be malevolent or they can never be harmful?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, so I thought that was the basic difference between spirits and souls. Spirits, I mean, from what you said. But
Yeah.
then, what is the basic difference between spirits and souls? Spirits, can they be souls as well? Or souls, can they be spirits?
Yeah. Yes. Vice versa.
Okay, so is the line very thin between the two
It's very
words?
thin. It's very thin. The way we say the line between being a sane and insane is very thin. Similarly, the line between spirit and souls is very thin. It's very complicated to define what is a spirit and what is a soul. What are the differences? It's a very thin line.
But you just kind of compared it to being sane and insane. I think that's a matter of perspective completely. I may appear
No,
insane
it's
to
not a
someone.
matter of perspective. Spirits, as I said, spirits can be in the form of the souls of deceased people. Spirits can be their individual self who have never taken a human form.
Okay, okay,
And
I get it now.
souls are exclusively of those who have had a human life.
Okay, that's perfectly clear to me and hopefully our listeners now. So that's actually a big difference
Yeah,
because
it is.
it is. Okay. So would you like to share with us your experiences of, have you actually been into Planchette yourself?
Well. I have been into Planchett, but it was just once. Planchett, to say.
Okay.
I'll put it under quotes, Planchett. And before I say that how and where I had been into Planchett, I would like to tell you a brief story about how I was introduced into Planchett.
Okay.
And you'll be surprised that my father, he was into engineering, and he had his college friends before he joined engineering college. There were three best friends, and they used to call themselves the Three Musketeers.
Okay.
And yeah, I'll tell you the place without, I'll tell you the state without giving you the exact place. The state was Tripura.
Mhm.
And my grandfather was into legal services during the British era, and that was undivided Bihar and Bengal.
Mhm.
Undivided Bengal, to be specific. So it was Bihar, Bengal, and UP, uh, Odisha also. So it happened that my grandfather was posted in Tripura. So he was there, and the Rajbari, they were very close to my grandfather. And it so happened that my father did his college years there, and he had two very close friends. One of them was into occult practices. We know him as Nabindu Kaka. I don't fear naming him because I've taken due permission from him.
Okay.
So Nabindu Kaka, as we call him, uh, he encouraged my father, and he said that we can call upon spirits by way of planchette.
Mhm.
So my father, he being a very uh, our family was more of like into Western culture, and they didn't believe in all this stuff. So my father was inquisitive, and he mockingly said, "Okay, let's try." So, and he just wanted to prove his friend wrong. That was his whole intention. Then his friend Nobendu Kaka said that, okay, let's set for a planchette, but we'll need, because you are a non-believer and I don't want to be a medium, so let us call for a medium. So whom did they choose for as the medium? They chose my aunt, my brother, my father's youngest sister. Yeah, they had only one sister, younger sister.
Okay.
And I will say she was a witch in herself because she was a very strong lady, well connected to the nature. She understood the highs and lows. She understood so many things, which I realized after she passed away. That's unfortunate of me.
Mhm.
And so one fine night, these three guys, along with my bua, they sat down and they started this. And they started this with our family members who had passed away.
Mhm.
And my bua, somehow, my aunt, to clarify those who don't understand what is bua, my father's sister, uh, she was a perfect medium. And that time we did not have the Ouija boards or anything. So what they did was they had a white sheet with the alphabets written on it, and the numbers 1 to 0 to 9, and yes and no, and just a coin.
Right.
So they used to place their hands on the coin, and the spirit they called, or the soul they called, that used to come through my aunt,
Right.
Bua.
Mhm.
And uh, the seances went on, and next day she used to fall unwell, and that continued for 2 days and all that. And many things happened. If I want to tell you, if I go on telling you, it will take so much of time. But there are certain incidents which I must say, which made my father and my aunt believe, uh, there was one example of them calling their grandfather, that is my grandfather's father, my
Okay.
great grandfather.
Mhm.
And he was also into legal services under the British era. And he died in normal death. And my grandfather, there were two brothers and four sisters. My grandfather was the eldest one, and uh, his brother was the youngest one. So there was a huge age difference. And after my youngest grandfather got married, uh, it so happened that my great grandfather fell ill. That is the father-in-law of my father's aunt.
Okay.
So something happened. I mean, everybody was like prepared because the doctors had given up. That time we didn't have those hospital facilities and all that stuff. Doctors had given up, and everybody was like stricken. And somehow it so happened that uh, that's all hearsay. It so happened that my great grandfather and my grandmother, my father's uh, chachi,
Yeah.
kakima, or
Okay.
aunt, whatever you want to call it, they were in the same room.
Mhm.
And then suddenly she started crying and said that he's no more. Everybody rushed back and they said, "What happened?" And since she was very close, she was a very young lady. She was close to my aunt, and she said that he told me that to remove the tabiz. I cannot go out. I cannot leave this plane unless and until you remove this tabiz.
Okay.
So,
So he was wearing an armlet which had he
yeah,
wanted to
that
be
he
removed.
was wearing an
Okay.
amulet,
Okay.
and this remained a mystery. Okay,
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
remained a mystery. So, when they first sat for Planchett, I think on the second session, my bua, because my bua knew that this
Mhm.
happened because she had disclosed. My bua just asked that was it true and why did you do it? And she got the answers.
Okay.
And then these people, my father and my aunt, my bua, my pishi, uh, they started believing. And but then again, they called upon their grandfather, and but grandfather said that it's really tough coming back, and please don't call us. And my bua, she used to fall ill uh, after every seance, and she said, "Nothing doing. I'm not going to participate. You guys go to hell."
Okay. So she learned the hard way. So it was difficult for her to go through the entire process.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she was very sensitive,
Mm.
and she was always the medium.
Mm.
And she used to fall ill for a couple of days after the sessions. And after she got her basic answers, because after her grandfather told her that "Bachche amake dakish na." These were the exact words.
Vidya,
I've
can I
been
ask you something? Why had he wanted the amulet or the armlet removed? Did he give that answer?
I'll tell you. Basically, it's a mystery as of date that where did he get that amulet from, and
Mm-hmm.
why did he get that?
Okay.
Okay, we understand that we were going through a very rough phase during that freedom struggle, British era,
Right.
and he was into British services. So
Mm-hmm.
there was a threat to his life and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, nobody bothered to find out that what was the exact problem, and he never told. He being so educated at that time that he was a Mukhtar. So he was educated enough not to fall prey of such things which we now call superstitious, which many people call superstitious.
Mm.
but he had that amulet. And
So,
that particular time when he was about to leave his body, when he was uh, with my grandmother, younger grandmother, I would say, he just said that, Boma, just remove this one, and because this is holding me back, and people have come to take me
take,
away.
right. So
Oh,
he
yeah.
was actually communicating to her when she was in another room, right?
She was in that room. No, she
Oh,
was in
oh,
that room. She was alone.
okay,
She was alone with her father-in-law,
okay,
and and she was very young.
okay,
She was very young, and he just said
right,
that just remove this.
okay.
This is
So
preventing you from
maybe,
traveling beyond.
okay, so maybe it was given to him so that he doesn't pass away very quickly because there was a threat to his
Yeah.
life, and it
Yes.
continued to work even when it was time for him to really go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. But
so
my
so Vidya, did you talk about it as a family about this particular experience that your father and your aunt had?
Yes, we did. It did not come in a general course, but it was like when we sat down and when we talked about the supernatural, and
Mm,
then my aunt was the first one to run away. Then I asked my father, well, what's wrong with her? Why is she not into it? And then my father said, because she has been so much into it that she is now scared. And then everything fell into place when I was given the stories.
okay,
Stories or realities, whatever you may call it. And but my aunt said that yes, she has been through it, and she had just been through it because she wanted to confirm what happened to her grandfather. And once she was like sure that okay, that this is what had happened, she was
mhm.
fine with it, and she just said that no, I don't want it anymore,
So
and I don't
she
want
didn't want
anybody
to,
to come.
she didn't want to turn it into a kind of a game or an everyday
No
practice.
ways, no ways, no ways.
Mm. Should people
She
do
was the
that?
one who used to suffer, who
Right.
used to suffer.
But
So she
many,
said, nothing doing. I'm not getting into all this, but this is what I have experienced. And now all the best to you guys.
so many a time in colleges or during, maybe parties, Planchette can become like a truth and dare game. People, is that safe?
No, it's not.
Why do you say it's not safe? What can happen?
See, we have so many downsides of not planchette. I won't quote planchette. Okay, planchette just is just one word of connecting with the souls, or one way of connecting with the spirits or spirits. There are so
Okay.
many other ways,
But this
and
is
this is
the
not a game.
layman's way of connecting with the spirits, maybe not those who have
So
evolved.
a layman is not supposed to connect
Okay.
because it is very dangerous.
Hmm.
It's because very dangerous. Why I would say that if you get into a detailed research,
Hmm.
which I had been doing over the years, I'll give you one example of the White House. So everybody, like we all common people, laymen, we know that President Lincoln's ghost has been ghost. I will put it under quotes because it's not me who's saying.
Yes.
Yeah. So ghost or whatever you call, whatever they call,
Hmm.
I won't call. It has been haunting White House. But like if we go into the history, if we go into the history, it was in the year way back in the year 1862-63 when Mrs. Lincoln lost her son,
Okay.
Willis Lincoln,
Hmm.
and he was like some 10, 11 years old, and she could not accept the fact that she lost her son. And that was the time, that was the exact period when these paranormal activities and everything was at its peak.
That's right. Mm.
Yeah. So what she did was she called upon all the well-known people, and she sat into and they turned the meetings into seances. And what happened was, this is what I have read and researched. Some things are available on the public domain and some things are not. But I'll still go on to say, I'll put my reputation at stake if somebody wants to contradict. But still, I'll go on to say that she was so desperate for contacting her son, who was not less than 11 to 13. I don't remember the exact age, but it was between 11 to 13 when she lost her son. Uh, what has been told by the experts when we go into the archives, that she was very desperate and she just wanted to talk to her son.
Just like any other mother, perhaps.
Yeah, that is not unnatural, that
Mm,
any mother would like to do.
mm.
Or maybe we as human beings, maybe if we lose someone near and dear to us, we would like to do the same thing. So I'm no ways blaming her. But what happens is, when you are so desperate, and what happened in the White House case was, she was so desperate, which has been research for the next 150 years, that somebody, she saw her son, but it was not her son, and it was a demonic energy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And to substantiate that further, it stayed. It stayed,
In the,
and
it
it
stayed on in the White House. Is that what you're saying? Or it stayed on with Mrs. Lincoln?
stayed on in the White House.
Okay.
And Mr. Lincoln, as we all know, what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
It is said that Mr. Lincoln is still there. His energy is still there. You call it spirit or soul. I'll call it an energy. His energy is still there because he was the one who was heart and soul into America's liberation. But he was assassinated, he got stuck up. But it all started way back in the year 1862 to 63, when she called, Mrs. Lincoln called upon her son in one of the seances, and instead of her son, one of the demonic energies responded and
Yes,
came in the
this
form.
is something that we've heard Bhashya talking about. That sometimes other spirits can come in. Here, this is a demonic spirit.
Bhaskar was talking about other spirits which can be pleaded and made to go away.
Yes, but if it's a
But
demonic
this is
one,
a
it will not.
demonic energy. This is a demonic energy. You just go ahead, do your homework, check it out. Every president has, from 1862 onwards, every president of US have has a bad history, or has had a bad history of making wrong decisions, which affected their tenureship.
Okay. All right. That's very controversial, media. I think we should not delve too much on it
No,
because,
I will not venture into that. I will not venture into that, but I will leave it to the
yes,
audiences to venture and find out for
it's
themselves.
true, but we know that some of them have met really difficult ends, and some of them have
Some
been
have taken
humiliated. Yes,
decisions which were not appropriate.
right. So,
Right.
so that can happen. You feel that demonic spirits can stay on and they can influence even powerful men and educated people. And this is one of Dolly's questions, if you remember, that can educated people believe in Planchette and do such thing, take such desperate measures, and to try
Uh,
and kind of meet their near and dear ones. And I think her second question was that are there people who can really call upon the dead? And is anybody or everybody qualified to do that?
Okay, I'll answer the first question. Yes, educated people can only resort to this measure. So, what Dory said, that educated people, yes, educated people can only venture into these sites. And uneducated people, they just close their eyes and believe. But educated people, they go ahead with logic, with science, and with their experiences. And
Mhm.
when they venture, it authenticates.
Okay, that's right. Very well said, Media. And what about this? There was one tantric who could make the sun appear for the gentleman, and the next time it failed when there was a lady who said who could bring back the second son for the mother.
The second son was not dead.
No, the third one actually. My mistake.
He
I
was
mean,
also not dead. Yeah.
yeah. So he was lost, maybe,
He was
and
lost.
yes. So do you feel that he was
But
still alive then at that point in time?
maybe alive, or maybe he had taken a rebirth. You never
Okay.
know. But there are certain things. I have been following your episodes of Planchett, Rebirth, and everything. So, what I would sum up in a couple of sentences is that okay, we have life after death. Yeah, we cannot counter that. We cannot say rest in peace. We can say Om Shanti.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. And if we go by the Egyptian culture, which is one of the oldest after the Sanatana Dharma, even they used to pack stuff for their
Mm,
afterlife uses.
that's right. Yes. And the rich people would have gold and diamonds.
Yeah. So they wanted them to have a luxurious life and a beautiful life. And so far as the plates are concerned, I would say that I will stick to seven phases,
Okay.
irrespective of what others say.
Mm,
Uh, and yes, I have been into Planchette. I'll come to that later on.
mm.
Uh, there are seven planes, to be
Oh,
very honest and simple, like seven chakras.
mhm.
And we have seven planes. And when once we reach the seventh plane, there is no coming back.
So
But
there's
till the
moksha. Is that
that is
moksha?
moksha. That is moksha. Yeah.
Okay.
Till the second plane, we have to come back. Till the sixth plane.
Okay.
Till the sixth plane, we have to come back. And it depends on the soul. The soul wants to, like, you have seen, maybe you have seen, and it has happened in my case. I will not take the names, but I was born on a date. Client or a friend or a very close associate of mine lost her maternal grandmother, the
Okay.
same day.
Okay.
So it's on the soul. The soul wants to come back. It's most welcome. It can come back at the very same instance that it leaves one physical form and gets into another, or the soul wants to rest and then come back. And now, coming to the question whether we have an afterlife and what the afterlife is like all about, you have the luxuries and the pleasures of these material lives. I don't think so, because whichever soul or spirit I have come into contact with, they have just spoken about life, light, and love.
Okay.
They never spoke about food or anything else, but they spoke about the all the lectures that they got from their angel guides and spirits.
Okay. So they're masters, as Brian West
The
says.
masters, yeah.
But this is something which is very, very unique that you have said, that a soul can immediately get into another body and take.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Okay, all right. So a soul may not. When would a soul do that? When would a soul do that?
When a soul feels that his karma, his or her karma, in this physical plane has not been completed, it may decide,
Hmm.
just cross over and decide that no, I just need to come back and redo. It can
Okay.
come back and redo. Or in other cases, it might just be like, okay, the soul decides that I want to come back and redo. So it stays in the mother's womb for 3 months, 4 months, and then realizes that no, I'm not supposed to do this. We get an abortion.
Oh,
Yeah.
but when does a soul
Or a
enter?
miscarriage.
When does a soul enter the fetus? Do you have any insights on
Third
that?
month. Third month. Third month. 21 weeks.
Okay. So a soul enters the mother's womb
The
in the
soul
third month.
enters, no, the soul enters the moment the person conceives, but it is expressed on the third month after 21 weeks.
What do you mean by express?
When you get the heartbeat.
Okay. So a soul, of course, chooses the mother, right? And knows the life that it is going to lead.
Chooses not only the mother, chooses the family.
Mm-hmm. Okay, of course. And of course, now we have a lot of single mothers. So maybe they would want to say something different to your uh, comment. But
No, being a single mother doesn't mean that you are out of a family.
true,
A single mother means you are very much into the society, you are very much in the family. It's just
Mhm.
that you don't have to wear a tag of being married. That's
True,
all.
true. So, does the soul also know that it is going to be abandoned, maybe in an orphanage, or it's going to be adopted?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's chosen its life and
Yeah.
its karma.
Yeah. They want to work out their karma.
So, thank you very much, media. We will bring you back in another session to talk about your experiences of Planchette. And you just don't do Planchette, you connect to spirits and souls in a very different manner. And
Yes, I do.
we will talk about that, because after all, Planchette is not the only way to connect with spirits and souls. Thank you, listeners. We brought you Media again, who is a Wiccan practitioner, and I hope we hope that you have liked listening to us. So please subscribe, like, and share our channel. Stay connected.